Hello from Samoa, country number 160. I spent today exploring around the capital of Apia, but I'm honestly exhausted from traveling so much around the Pacific over the last 3 weeks and making daily videos. As I have just Tonga and Palau left to visit until I complete all the Pacific nations, I thought now would be a great time to share with you my 6 favorite things about the Pacific. 1. Island time. Anywhere you go in the Pacific, no one's in a rush, no one's in a hurry. It's so relaxing, it's so laid back, it's just a simple life. Everybody wakes up every morning, does the same routine, lays on the hammock, just relax. 2. Beaches. Of course, anywhere you go in the Pacific, you can expect to see amazing beaches, and I promise you, they will live up to the expectations. Everywhere you go, you will see white sanded beach, crystal clear seawater, amazing for snorkeling and diving. It's just an unbelievable paradise. And don't forget to drink a fresh coconut in the sand. 3. Indigenous cultures. One of my favorite things about traveling the Pacific is that there's real indigenous culture here. You can find people that have been living on the same land for thousands and thousands of years.
Just on the one hand!
Which means they have their traditional food, traditional dances, rituals, drinks, religion. All that stuff is deeply rooted here, and it's really amazing to go into villages and see how people live. 4. It's English speaking.
So this is the Parliament House here.
Anywhere you go in the Pacific, people can speak English, most of them fluently. Of course, you have the British and the American colonization, but even otherwise, in the schools and everything, people are trying to learn English. All the signs are in English. You never have to worry about a communication barrier, which is honestly one of the best parts about being a traveler and coming to this part of the world. 5. Scuba diving and snorkeling.
Jump!
If there's any divers out there, you have to come to the Pacific. They have some of the clearest waters, some of the most diverse marine life, and if you're a snorkeler, you can pretty much walk off any beach, stick your goggles in the water, and see an abundance of fish. And there's also a lot of shipwrecks here from World War II, which is super interesting to see. 6. World War II history. As I just mentioned, there's a bunch of Japanese shipwreck dives, but also on land. The Japanese conquered most of the Pacific, and the Americans were battling with them here on these islands, and you can see relics, cannons and guns and ammunition just laying around the islands. They're just original, they're natural. No one ever cared for them, they're just there, and it really gives you this cool feeling. And I'm not even a history nerd, but coming here got me a lot more interested in World War II, and if you like history, then this is the perfect place for you. Okay, so now that you've heard my favorite things about the Pacific, I'd like to end with some general travel tips if you're coming to this region. Number 1 is book all your flights in advance because they sell out and they get really, really expensive. There's 3 major airlines that will connect all these islands, which is Fiji, Air New Zealand, and Nauru Air. If you jump on Nauru Air, you can take the hopper, which means they'll just go from country to country and it'll be cheaper to break up your trip that way, which is exactly what I did. But definitely make sure that you buy all your stuff in advance because it can get really pricey. Next, make sure that you have a lot of US dollars and Australian dollars with you at all times because there are not many ATMs here and a lot of these countries take either US dollars, all of Micronesia is US dollars, and Kiribati, Nauru, and Tuvalu take the Aussie dollar. Next, you guys have to have patience when you come here. It's so relaxed, it's so laid back, and this is something that I struggle with, having ADD, and I'm always like, boom, 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 gotta get everyone on time. But no, if they tell you the bus is 20 minutes, it's 40 minutes. Just relax. Everybody's smiling.
Welcome to Samoa.
It's very safe. I haven't really mentioned the safety aspect here. I've never had any issues while traveling in the Pacific, but just make sure that you just relax yourself and have patience. The food, what about the food here? Honestly, it's not really that great. Don't have high expectations. There's really good tuna and fish and rice, which is their staple food, but they don't really grow crops. There's not many fruits and vegetables on these islands, especially the atoll remote islands. So a lot of this imported canned food like frozen pizzas and canned corn and canned green beans. But there is a lot of Chinese restaurants here for one reason or another. So I ate a lot of Chinese food, but yeah, don't have too high of expectations for the cuisine. And finally, my last tip is how to get Wi-Fi, how to get signal. Long story short, the Wi-Fi is really slow and it's not really available, so your best bet is to get local SIM cards in each country. As soon as you arrive in the airport, pop over to the local SIM card provider, usually Digicel, and they'll hook you up with an awesome rate. It's usually about $20 US for 2 gigabytes, which I found to be enough to upload everything. And also you can hotspot your computer, which means you can use your computer as well. So that's all my tips. I really hope you guys visit the Pacific. It's an amazing part of the world, so much culture to experience. And if you have any more questions, comment below. I'm happy to help you guys out. For now, I'm gonna go get some dinner at this awesome resort in Samoa, watch some traditional dances. Good night, guys. I'm Drubinski, and if you like my travel videos, please click subscribe and join me as I plan to visit every country in the world.